Hey everybody, it's Nicholas Rogers with the Big Timber Lodge, and I'm back at it today with you for something special. It's going to be my official 1,000 round review of my Glock 43X. Now, if you've been watching the channel for a while, you know that I've shot in well over 1,000 rounds through this pistol. I've had my ups and my downs, my hard times and my good times. However, since I've done all the modifications to this pistol, I've shot about 1,000 rounds through it, and I want to tell you what I think about this pistol. I'm going to just start at the top, tell you what I've done. First thing first is going to be the night Fision tritium night sights that I put on here. Absolutely love those. I also put a slide spider on the rear of the slide and the serrations. This feels kind of like the same material that's on top of a skateboard, so it does allow me to get better grip on the slide, as well as a apex trigger, flat face trigger in here. And I love this. We're going to talk about that a little bit more here shortly. I also did the grip. I did a rubber texturized grip on this pistol just to give me a little bit better recoil mitigation issues that I was having before. I did the full shield arms upgrade, meaning I did the premium shield arms mag release button, as well as the 15 round shield arms magazine. And then I also did the shield arms Magwell on this pistol. Some of these things I love, some of them I kind of not that great. So we'll get to that real shortly. So between all my conceal and carry pistols, I have the Glock 43X. This is my current lineup, by the way. I have the H&K VP9 SK. And then I have the Glock 47, which really isn't a conceal and carry pistol. I find myself gravitating towards the 43X more than any other firearm out there. And that's for a couple of reasons. One, it's very small and compact. If I shut the slide, it literally can hide almost directly behind my hand, except for the Magwell sticking out that I added onto the pistol. So it's a very small, compact pistol. Now, the other thing that makes me want to carry this is the actual shield arm magazine upgrade that I did. This holds 15 rounds, which is amazing. 15 rounds in this tiny little capacity magazine. And I know this is going to be a controversial topic because a lot of people say, oh, my shield arm mags don't work well with my Glock 43X or my Glock 48. And it seems to be like a 50-50. They either work great in your pistol or they completely suck. And I've read online from some comments from shield arms that essentially they just kind of blame the pistol itself instead of taking ownership for there being issues. So my thoughts on that is, if you get a Glock 43X or a Glock 48 and you want to carry the shield arms magazine, just buy one. Just buy one. And then try it out and see if it works with your particular pistol. I've honestly had maybe 2 or 3 malfunctions with my 43X since I've upgraded to the shield arms magazines, whereas with other people, they talk about they can't even get through one full mag without it having some sort of feeding malfunction caused by the magazine. So I'm not here to debate whether or not shield arms is a good choice for you, or if it's not. What I'm saying is just try one out, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Go back to the OEM plastic 10 round magazine and just move on with your life. Now, supposedly they are going to be coming out with a Gen 3 that might address some issues, because this is currently the Gen 2, but I don't know if I'll buy it, because honestly I have 2 shield arm mags that hold 15 rounds, and that's 30 in the magazine and 1 in the chamber. So that's 31 rounds I can walk around with fairly easy for self-defense and to protect others that I care about. So I don't know if I will upgrade. I might just give it a shot just for my channel. It's going to depend if I get any of them super thanks down here, or if I get enough revenue off of YouTube. YouTube is kind of demonetizing my channel in the process that I'm making this video, though. So moving on. Now, one of the things I will talk about, though, is the shield arm magazine release button right here. And I got the premium one. And when I bought this premium one, I noticed I couldn't put the OEM plastic mag back inside of this pistol. If I did, it just got like stuck. I had to literally like get like pliers, vice grips, and pull it out. Apparently, Shield Arms makes an additional magazine release button that works with both the metal shield arm mags and the OEM plastic mags from Glock. I have not had a chance to try it out. There's no need for me to, because currently my shield arm metal mags run flawlessly in my pistol, and that's what I run. So I don't want to run the 10 round mags and lose out on being able to carry an extra 10 rounds of ammunition for self-defense. Now, so that would kind of be a neutral complaint about the shield arms mag release button is if you get the premium mag release button, the plastic mags aren't going to work. Now, moving on to the Shield Magwell, the Shield Arm Magwell. I love this Magwell because I do have bigger hands. As you see, I can actually like fully make this pistol disappear behind my hand. And so when I grab onto it with my grip, my pinky doesn't quite have enough real estate. But with this Magwell, I'm able to actually get some more real estate for my pinky, so I have a much more comfortable grip, which allows me to have a better back bracing for my non-dominant hand to actually be able to press against my fingers, including my pinky, so I can have better stabilization for recoil mitigation. There is a complaint that I have with this Shield Arms Magwell, though, so I'm sorry to rip on Shield Arms. I'm just being honest with you guys. I've had this on here now for probably 2,000, 2,500 rounds that I've shot through the 43X, and I've had to re-tighten down the Magwell in the pistol. I don't know if you could see it in the video, but it does move a little bit. Now, it's tight back here in the rear where the screw goes in, and there's a little wedge that goes into the rear part of the grip, and that actually keeps it nice and tight. But the front part of the Magwell moves up and down. And this is actually noticeable when I go to the range and I shoot this, because when I grab onto the pistol and my pinky gets real estate, I can feel the Magwell going this direction when I squeeze with my hand. Now, does it make me not want to use the Magwell? No, it doesn't. I just would prefer for it to be more firm and solid feeling at this point in the stage of this pistol's life cycle. And also, too, I don't like the fact that I've had to keep going back and retightening the screw in here to make the wedge expand more. I'm going to have to look at maybe some options I could do as far as, working around that issue and fixing it myself. But it is an issue that I've noticed, and the more that I shoot the pistol, the more recoil it has, the more that I'm noticing that Magwell wants to flip a little bit when my hand grips the pistol. All right, now moving on to the Apex trigger. The Apex trigger I find to be fantastic. If I close this, you can see it is a flat face trigger. So, this is our striker safety right here. So once this safety feature is depressed into the trigger, then I can actually depress the actual trigger shoe, and then it's a rolling break. Now, that took me a little while to get used to, the rolling break on the Apex trigger. And what do I mean by the rolling break? Well, typically, like with the Glock, you're going to get a little bit of slop in your trigger finger as you pull it down, and then you're going to kind of get to a nice wall. It might not be super crisp, but there's going to definitely be a wall there. And then that's where the pressure builds up below your finger, and then boom, it releases, right? With this, it's more of a rolling break, meaning as my finger engages this trigger and I pull it down slowly, there is no wall. There's a little bit of slop in the beginning, but then you just kind of get to this continuous pressure that you're pushing through, and then it eventually goes, which I find actually helped me out a lot with my accuracy as far as tightening up the groups go, because what it does is it prevents me from knowing where that wall is going to be, so my mind doesn't really know. It's just a rolling break, meaning it kind of surprises me. So if I'm trying to shoot this pistol as accurate as possible, and I'm just applying pressure, it kind of surprises me every time. And that's what you really want to happen if you're trying to shoot as tight of a group as possible. But in self-defense situations, I've taken this to the range, and I can actually, I can get on this trigger as fast as I need to. And the reset on it is pretty short, so if I pull the trigger, you can see the reset is probably about 1 millimeter, maybe a little less, from the tip of the shoe out. All right. Not bad, not bad. The trigger bar itself does get a little bit dirty. I've actually had to take the full trigger assembly out of the pistol and clean everything around it, and because I was getting kind of that gritty feeling, even with the upgraded Apex trigger. Now, what I wanted to do while I'm here, and I have your guys' attention, is actually see what the trigger weight is on this pistol now that I've shot this Apex trigger about 1,000 times, to see if it's gotten any lighter than the last time right after I installed the Apex trigger. So what I'm going to do is I have my handy dandy Lyman's trigger pull weight measuring device. It's digital. So all I do, close the slide, make sure we don't have anything in here, secure the pistol down. I'm going to hit the ready button, and then I'm just going to place this in here, Pull it back nice and slow. And then it broke at 4 pounds, 13.2 ounces. Re-rack. Nice break. 5 pounds, 3.5 ounces. We're going to do a best of 5. Five pounds, 0.4 ounces. Oh. Four pounds, 10 ounces. One more. Nice break. 4 pounds, 14.3 ounces. Hit my average button. We have 4 pounds, 14.7 ounces for a trigger pull weight, which isn't bad. That 4 to 5 range for a self-defense trigger for me is money, especially if you're carrying the Glock 43X and an appendix carry holster. You want to ensure that you're not accidentally just going to tap the trigger and then shoot yourself and your man parts or your lady bits and then end up in the hospital like Plexico Burris at a strip club in Pennsylvania. All right. Now, actually, he was just at a nightclub, not a strip club. But anyways, you get what I'm saying, right? You don't want to accidentally shoot yourself. So now, the next thing we're going to talk about is the Houge rubberized grip that I put on this pistol. It's nice, right? It helps. The stippling on the pistol grip itself from factory was actually kind of trash, which is surprising because the stippling on the Glock 47 from factory is rather nice. I mean, that's a good feeling stippling. This Glock 47 I haven't done anything to yet, and I've owned it for about 4 months or 3 months now, and I just like it straight out the factory. It's kind of funny, man. You know, it's kind of like the difference between going to a Toyota dealership and buying a Toyota Camry, or like going to a Honda dealership and buying a Honda Civic, right? You know, with the Toyota Camry, it's a family car. Everybody can use it, and it's, you know, you don't really do much to it, right? You're not gonna put rims on it or soup up the motor. The Honda Civic, you're gonna do a whole bunch of crap to it, right? You're gonna put like a trash can exhaust on there. You know who I'm talking to. And you're moving like 5 miles an hour down the street. You know, and you're gonna mod it out, right? That's exactly what this Glock 43X is for me. Now, okay, the slide spider. Now we're moving on up. So this is that tape deck feeling stuff from the top of a skateboard. I love it. It allows me to grab the slide a lot easier. I haven't had an encounter yet where my hands are really wet. Maybe I should take like a bucket of water to the range and put my hand in it and grab the slide. However, I will say, just from holster usage, I don't know if you can see this, but up here along the top of the serrations, the grip tape is actually disappearing. That's also from my hands just grabbing the slide, pulling it back. Now, interesting fact, when I bought the slide spider for this 43X, they actually give you 2 slide spiders for your pistol. And I was like, that's kind of strange. Well, thinking on it now, it's because they know eventually it's going to wear out a little bit and you're going to need another one. So when I feel like this is fully worn out, I can just remove it, probably a little bit of stripper or some acetone, get the adhesive off, clean it out, and then put the new one on. Now, if you're rocking the MOS, this is not going to be an option for you because you're going to have an optic on this portion. I do not know if they make, and I've looked, I haven't been able to find anything, a slide spider for the front serrations for people that like the front check. But I do know if you're not rocking that red dot, I highly recommend the slide spider. Now, moving on to the sights, right? This is the big thing for me. I feel like a lot of people that get the 43X kind of fall into the same category that I did, where you're like, hey, I've been shooting this for or shooting pistols now for like 30 years, and all of a sudden I get this 43X, and to quote one of my recent viewers, I can't hit shit with this pistol. Well, I wouldn't say that I couldn't hit shit with this pistol, but I will say that I couldn't hit dead center with this pistol without actually having to aim over to the right and a little high because I was shooting low left. So that's one of the reasons why I went down this magical trail of modding out this pistol with the flat face trigger, getting different sights and all these other things, just to try to get the pistol to shoot straight, and it still never really helped me out. The flat face trigger definitely helped tighten up those groups from like this to this. You guys have seen videos. I'm not going to post any of that here. You've probably been following my channel for a long time. So, but what ended up fixing my issue with this pistol shooting low left was to actually drift the rear sights. Okay, I took this pistol to a gunsmith and explained to him what was happening, and he took a rubber mallet and a rubber punch and tapped my rear sights to the right. You can see here, they are not lined up straight anymore. They shift over this way. And once he did that, what it did with my hand was it forced my hand, in order to see down those sights, push the rear of the pistol left, okay, in order to be able to line up with that front post, which then moved the front of the pistol, where the tip of the barrel is, over to the right, bringing my accuracy or my point of aim from left to the right. Now, I've still had, after videos that I've posted with me shooting this with the drifted sights, I still have people saying, you're just not pulling the trigger back the correct way. I'm a pistol instructor. You're just not knowing how to shoot. You know what? Screw you, buddy. All right? I don't have the other issues, or I don't have that issue with any other pistol that I own. All right? And I've heard a lot of people complain about the 43X, that it shoots left for them. Okay? And I have other micro compact pistols. I have a Walther PPS that's even smaller than this in the grip, and I can shoot it just straight, just fine. So don't listen to anybody. If you know yourself and you're having a hard time getting that to shoot center where you're aiming and it keeps shooting to the left, take it to a gunsmith. I'm not going to tell you to do it yourself because you can actually really mess this up, and have them drift your rear sights to the right a little bit and see if that helps. Okay? I'm getting literal groups now that are about this big at 7 yards with 5 to 15 rounds, all in the 10 ring with this pistol now that I drifted those sights over. Do I wish, because I'm OCD, that I didn't have to drift this? Absolutely. This crap drives me crazy because when I look down the sights, they're not center, right? They're not center on the rear of the pistol, and it absolutely drives me crazy, but I'll get over it, right? You know, another thing I could do too is just get an MOS slide for this pistol and throw a red dot on it. And then it doesn't matter because the red dot's just going to look like it's center. It's going to be wherever it aims, and I'll have that dialed in. But for now, I just like the open iron sights and makes it more concealable for me. Do I wish I would have gotten the 43X MOS after 1,000 rounds? Sometimes I think about it. I mean, but for what this pistol is, the reason why I'm wearing this motorcycle vest that I ride in is because I like to be able to throw this into my internal conceal and carry pocket on this vest. And it's very easy just to get it in here. And without having red dot optic on top, I can close this. It's very concealable, right? Very, very concealable. People really can't tell. I mean, if you're looking really hard, you might be able to see it. But it's very easy just to open up and pull out. Okay, so if I had a red dot optic on top of this pistol, it would cause snagging as I try to pull it out of this vest. Okay, I don't want that to happen. I want this to be as low drag and as fast as possible for me to deploy into a self-defense situation, and it is. It's everything that I wanted it to be. Now, after 1,000 rounds with my mods, I've had maybe 1 or 2, like I said, issues with malfunctions, whether it's from feeding or jamming, but nothing to be concerned about. When I first got this pistol, it jammed 4 times in the first like 150 rounds, and I had to send it back to Glock. Glock fixed it, they sent it back to me, and I've only had a small handful of malfunctions since, and I've shot thousands of rounds through it. Now, some people tell you, oh, it was just you didn't go through the Glock break-in period. To that crap, right? Glock 47, brand new, no mods to it. I have shot all the same bullshit ammo through this 47 as I have this 43X, and I have not had one jam with that Glock 47. So don't let people tell you, oh, well, you're just going through the break-in period. If your pistol has to go through a break-in period, I don't trust it. No offense to you guys. I've never had another firearm where it's like, oh, it has to go through a break-in period, other than the barrel for seasoning the barrel. And even that's being kind of questioned these days. But if somebody tells you, oh, your gun's just breaking in for the first 5,000 rounds, tell them to sit on a bag of dicks. Because that's not what you want to have to worry about when you're getting a self-defense pistol. Because the last thing that you want to worry about is having to deploy this in an engagement, and then you're wondering in the back of your mind, I hope it doesn't jam. So when mine was jamming that much, I said, screw it. I sent it directly back to Glock. Glock fixed it. Great customer service. They got it back fairly fast. And then ever since then, it's been running flawlessly. The only other serious issue that I had with this Glock is the fact that it didn't shoot straight, and I had to drift the rear sights, even with the aftermarket sights on there. Even with the OEM factory sights, it was still shooting to the left, okay? So just remember, if it's not shooting straight for you and you keep consistently shooting low and to the left, try having a gunsmith drift those sights to the right. All right, now, the only complaint that I have about this pistol as my everyday carry is the fact that I do have bigger, chubbier hands. And when I go into a defensive grip on this pistol, you can see my fat of the ball of my hand rolls up above the muted beaver tail that this pistol has, and I get slide bite. Okay? Slide bite is where the slide comes back and hits the fat of your hand. That's the only complaint that I have about this pistol. Now, what would fix that is what they did with the 47, but they haven't done it yet, and I've already talked to Glock, and they told me they would tell their engineers, is this is an extended beaver tail right here, and it's added by putting this back strap onto the pistol, and when I grab onto this, that extended beaver tail prevents my hand from being hit with that slide. And guess what? It would be very easy for them to do the same thing with the 43X because it has the same mounting hole where the rear pin goes through, the rear takedown pin goes through the back of the back strap, and they could easily put that onto the 43X. So I am awaiting, hopefully soon, Glock is going to release a backstrap piece that will give an extended beaver tail, and that would mitigate my issue with this pistol. I've looked at going to like Sig's, the Sig P365, but the Sig P365 only holds 10 rounds, much like the Glock 43X did. But the Sig P365X holds, I believe it's 12 rounds or 13 rounds. I think it's 12. But this is roughly the same size as that pistol, but with the Shield Arms S15 mag, I'm now rocking 15 rounds in this pistol. And the more ammo you have for self-defense, the better the situation you're going to be in. You're going to be more comfortable, right? Don't let anybody or any politician or any anti-gunner tell you any different. You hear politicians, well, if you can't hit a deer in 3 shots, you shouldn't be hunting. Screw you, buddy. All right, first off, the Second Amendment wasn't meant for hunting. Okay, it was to defend yourself from foreign and domestic tyrants and also be able to self-defend. Okay, so in that self-defense situation, I want to be able to carry as much ammunition in my pistol as possible just in case I get attacked by multiple attackers, right? You're seeing that uptick now in the world or in our country where you're having multiple people break into your house or multiple people jump you at the same time, right? What happens if you have 5 people jump you, which there's a lot of videos online of that happening, and you only have 10 rounds, okay? And you're getting the crap beat out of you, and they're breaking your nose, and you're seeing 3 people, and it takes 3 shots just to shoot one person, and so you only have 10 rounds, and now you still have 2 people kicking your ass. All right, so if you got 15 rounds in your magazine, you're going to be much better off for being in one of those self-defense situations. Now, that also brings me to why I carried this more than my VP9 SK. Now, my VP9 SK is my Ferrari of pistols. All right, this is my Ferrari. This thing has been worked on all around the country. It's even been sent back to H&K. It has a whole bunch of internal workings done, and it runs fantastically. The grip is fully modular. For my hand, it's pretty much almost a custom grip because HK gives you that modularity. It also has a TLR7 on this. Love, love, love this pistol. But even with this extendo mag, right? Even with this extendo mag, this pistol only holds 12 rounds. This pistol, which is a lot smaller, this 43X holds 15. So I ain't lying when I tell you, capacity is king. All right? Capacity is king. Would I buy the 43X again? Absolutely. Right? Absolutely. Would I suggest to Glock some improvements? Yes. All right? I got to look at this pistol with the Glock night sights. Gross. Gross. Real gross, right? That's why I put the night Fision night sights on here. I would also recommend to Glock, fix this beaver tail for dudes that have bigger hands but want to be able to carry a more compact pistol. Okay, you're already doing that technology on the Glock 47 and other pistols with the modular backstrap. It wouldn't be hard for you to do with these compact pistols for the 43X and the 48. Also, Glock, wake up when it comes to your magazine capacity. Why, in your OEM mags that are the exact same size as this, you only carry 10 rounds? I get it. They're plastic. They're polymer. These are metal, so they can't handle more pressure. But wake up to the times, okay? Even Staccato with their new compact CS pistol, they have a different design magazine so they can carry more ammunition in a streamlined configuration. Do the same thing, Glock. I would prefer for the major functioning parts of my pistol to come from factory the way that I want it versus having to mod it out. That is one of the big complaints that I have about this pistol, is the fact that in order for me to get this pistol to where I want it to be, I had to do a lot of modifications to it. And it wasn't super cheap, right? Pistol itself is around $4 something, maybe $500. $400 to $500 for the pistol brand new. The shield arm magazine upgrades was not cheap. That was over $125 because the mags themselves are close to like $35, $40 each. And then I had to get the mag release button, and then I did the Magwell. Magwell is just more on me because I have bigger hands. The slide spider. The slide spider is personally my own thing. They could fix me having to get this rubberized grip on here though, if they just put better stippling on this pistol, right? It doesn't have to be super aggressive like sandpaper, but just something a little bit more like your full-size service pistols would make the grip on this a lot better. And then, the trigger. Okay. The OEM factory trigger on this 43X, on my 43X, was fantastic. The only reason why I put this Apex flat face trigger on here was because I was trying to correct shooting low left. It did not correct that for me. It did tighten up my groups just because, like I said, it has a rolling break where you're not really hitting a wall. So if I'm shooting for accuracy, it surprises me every time. And as long as I'm holding steady over my target, there's really no flinching when I hit that wall. So it does make you shoot those groups a lot tighter. But I did read a lot of complaints from guys that their Glock 43X and 48 triggers that have like the lines in them, the serrations, chewed up their fingers a little bit. I never had that issue. Maybe I just have tougher hands than some people. I don't know. Tougher fingers. I never had that issue, not to talk bad about you. But what I did notice with this Apex trigger, and I will say this, is that my finger, if I'm doing like speed drills, if I get my finger down in the shoe, down here, as I pull this trigger back, there's a gap between the trigger and the trigger guard. And my finger can actually get a little caught underneath that. And I went out one day and I shot close to 500 rounds with this doing speed drills. And I got a blister on this part of my finger because it kept getting stuck underneath the trigger shoe. Now that is not the pistol's fault. It's not the trigger shoe's fault. That is owner-operator error of me not mentally practicing enough or physically practicing enough where my hand coordination went to the center part or the sweet spot of this trigger shoe so that when I pulled it back, it wasn't below the trigger shoe and getting pinched. between the trigger shoot and the actual trigger guard. So recommend this pistol absolutely as an everyday carry. Just ensure that you're not having issues with it feeding or jamming or ejecting the way that I did. If it is, send it back to Glock. They'll fix it for you. This pistol seems to be just as accurate, if not more accurate now after 1,000 rounds because one, I'm getting better muscle memory with it. I practice with it quite a bit and I'm becoming more comfortable with it just carrying. Now I do find that I've kind of gone away from the appendix carry just because I've talked about it in many other videos because I'm a bigger dude. And even though this is a very small pistol, it's still kind of uncomfortable for me to carry. So I found myself carrying that rear quarter more back here, and it's a lot more comfortable. Fantastically comfortable. And because the grip isn't super big, it's very easy to conceal. And I'm carrying 15 rounds, right? A lot of times when I leave the house, I don't even feel like I need to have an extra mag, just because I know I have 15 in the mag and 1 in the chamber. So that's 16 rounds in this tiny little pistol. So I highly recommend the Glock 43X. I think for what it is, Glock knocked it out of the park. Do I feel like there's room for improvements? Absolutely. So until next time, peace!